Good morning everybody. Welcome to Accountex. It's really lovely to open up the day with this session. Thanks for coming along. I'm Zoe Whitman. I'm here with Joe Wood on the end, and we host the Bookkeepers podcast. And we have been joined by two of our amazing bookkeepers, Kristy Glenister and Emma James. And we're going to talk to you about tech. And honestly, these girls are going to blow your minds. It's just been called out to us that it's kind of funny that we're doing a tech chat and we've brought pieces of paper. So let's see what we can learn today.
Yeah, we are definitely here to learn from these lovely ladies. So, Kristy and Emma, do you want to start off, Kristy, by giving us a little bit of background about who you are and your practice?
Hi, so I'm Kristy Glenister and I run Forecast Bookkeeping. My original background is in IT, and so I really enjoy implementing any new software that I can in my practice and helping others to do the same.
Amazing, and thank you. And Emma?
Hi, I'm Emma. I run a practice called The Number Ninja. It's a bit similar to Kristy. My background isn't in accounting, really. It wasn't in practice. I was in university administration to start with, so very process driven. So that's where a lot of this has come from.
Fantastic. Okay, so Emma, I know from having years of chats with you that you run your practice very differently. And when we first met, you were very much against hiring a team. You wanted to do everything with robots. I didn't even know that was a thing. Now, I know you run your practice very differently, and I know Kristy does as well. But I wonder if you can tell us, Emma, about what are you doing? Like when we talk about automation and technology, can you give us a bit of a view of what actually happens in your practice?
Yeah, so I now have a team, but when I first started, it was very much always going to be me. I didn't want any staff, but I also wanted to earn quite a lot of money, so and not work very much. So to do that, I needed to build a team of software. So apps and software were my team members for a number of years, and that hasn't really changed, even though we're now a team of 4. But we are still very much, I think we work as a team of much bigger, and where we use software a lot and we automate an awful lot. So we're not a production line, but we are not a boutique firm either. So we are very, very clear about who we serve, what our processes are. We move people along from A to B to C and then out the door. And we're also building our own software as well. So at the moment, we're building a bookkeeping bot to do bank reconciliation. Now, that mainly came out of we had a look at the market, saw a need, had a look at the market. None of them meet our needs and work how we work. So we just built our own. And I could say that like it was nothing.
I'm just thinking, I wouldn't even know that I could think about building a bot or even having a bot. I wouldn't know where to start. So how do you research this kind of, how do you know?
I am inherently lazy, and do not want to do anything more than twice, really. If I'm doing something 2-3 times, then I don't need to be doing it. Something else can do it for me. I think it's just it's not just looking within the industry, I think so. A lot of, so my husband, who's now part of the team, his background is software development, hence the bot. And we've taken a lot of the processes from software development and brought them into bookkeeping. So it's looking to see what best practices. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I look it more widely, like business news, to see what's out there and to see what we can be doing.
How about you, Kristy? Don't worry, I big things to live up to. But what happens in your business? What kind of tech is built into the day-to-day process?
Well, I'm definitely not building my own bot at the moment, although I might speak to Emma about that. So we mainly try and use as much of the software that we've already implemented to get the maximised use of it. And again, automating anything that we can to stop having to redo the same tasks over and over again. It's a bit boring otherwise, you see. And and again, I'm quite lazy too, so I don't like to work too much if I can help it. And there are certain tasks that we need to spend time on. So if you can free up the lower end tasks and the easy stuff, then it gives you that time to spend with the clients.
Kristy, we had a conversation a little while ago where I was talking, I think it was in like one of our practice management sessions, and we was talking about the fact that people wanted to use calendar automation software, and you brought up, well, have you already got Office 365? And someone was like, well, yes. She was like, well, you've got booking software in there. And I was like, have we? And so we really want to talk about like maximising the things you already have, because I'm sure as you've walked in today, you've seen lots of shiny objects and lots of people are going to be scanning you, and you can get to talk. And definitely, if there's something that you need and you want and there's a gap, but a lot of the time we don't realise what we've already got. I went and saw Xero with my team, and because I realised I've been using Xero since, 2011, but I was using Xero now as I was using it back then, and there's been so many updates, so many new things, but when you're running a business and you're busy with clients, you don't necessarily always, I know we have to do our updates to keep certified, but you don't always get to really investigate what's there and what's going to be right for you. And I literally went in and with my team and we sat, and she said, so how do you open Xero? And I was like how everyone does? No. There was another way of opening Xero so that I didn't show a client, if I was sharing a screen, I didn't show all my clients. It was a different way of doing it. I was like, within the first 5 minutes, I learned a new way of, opening it so that I wasn't showing everyone. And that was just the start. And I was like, wow, I'm using about 10% of the software that I was paying over £1,000 a month because I had lots of clients on it. I'm like, why am I not utilising this? And I think this is when we started really talking. I know, Kristy, you've spoken to lots of our members and done software audits on some of our mastermindees. What's been the thing that's come up where people are thinking they need something new, but they've already got it?
Yeah, it's, as you said, a lot of the time it's Microsoft 365. There's so many things included in the subscription you're already paying for. First of all, I started off with Calendly, Loom, and, a whole wealth of things that were adding up. And I had all of it already in Microsoft 365. So I've done my best to start implementing all of those different apps. And then saying about Xero, that's one of the things I'm working on at the moment, is tailoring all the reports to try and minimise what I'm having to do in Excel otherwise, so that it automatically does it for you. Because, again, otherwise you're going from one software to another and things like that. So it's finding out what the software can do for you to make your life easier and to then make the client's life easier.
So with that in mind, I always think that we should be using our account managers as team members. So actually looking at the software that you've already got and booking in a call and making it a regular call, and say to them, what am I not using in the software that I've already got? So I think that really helps us to, whenever you speak to the software people, they'll tell you about the new things and the new latest thing, but you might have missed the latest 5 updates and might not be using those. So really use them as team members.
Also, I'm just thinking, when you're doing a software audit, what are you doing to understand what the process is that's already happening in the business? And you said you mapped out, you're using Calendly and Loom, etc., etc. Is that a process that people in the room can follow so they can start asking the right questions?
Yeah, so you can put together, take a look at what software you're already paying for, and then find out whether you've got duplications there. So I'd take a look, and if someone's got an Office 365 subscription, but they're also paying for Calendly, Loom, and all the other things, that could automatically save them at least £30 a month before you've even done anything else, and that's just at a glance. So by mapping out what they've already got and then seeing if there's duplications, that's where I would start, because everything adds up and you've got to learn how to do everything. So I prefer to try and keep everything in the one system, and then it's much easier to automate it as well. But yeah, I would just start by writing out a list of all the software that you're already using, and then it makes it easier to be able to see what you're using it for. So that's where I would start.
Amazing. Emma, you use software in a different way. I think you look at it completely differently to the majority of us. The conversations that I've had with you, I'm like, you do what? Are there any hidden features in software that lots of us are using, or that you're using and you think when you see other people using it, they're doing it a bit differently? Is there anything that you think, I mean, you don't know because you just know it's the way you do it, but you have enough conversations with other bookkeepers and accountants, and do you think there are some hidden features that people aren't utilising enough?
Yeah, I think even at the quite basic level of if you're using, I don't know, either a Mac or PC, do you actually know how to use the operating system? So, for example, things like on a Mac, turning things into PDFs or dragging things from one screen to another, or even just like opening them and things like that. That at a very, very basic level, do you actually know how to use the core software that you're using? So we use Zen and Connect in our practice. I don't know if anyone else uses that. So it basically acts as kind of like a bookkeeping supervisor for us. That's what we use it for. And within that, as well as all of like the health check stuff that it's got, which is great, it's also got this insights section, which I don't think a lot of people use. And that has things like corporation tax estimates and all of these really useful information. And we actually use, it's all in graphs as well. We use that as management reports for our clients, because we don't need, I've bought it all. Like, we don't need Fathom, Futurely, all the rest. It's great, but for our clients, it's kind of pointless. And whereas Zenon has all of that, which, when I've spoken to other people who are using it, they're not using that at all. And it exists there. And kind of like what you were saying, Kristy, you could be duplicating things that you've already got. Every week within the team, we have a show and tell session. So every Thursday morning after our main meeting, someone takes the lead and just shows the rest of the team something. And it's normally software related. So it's normally how to do X, Y, Z in there.
I love that. I want to do a show and tell.
Yeah, I want to come to the show and tell. If you don't know how to use your operating system, because I saw a few little people going, what do you do with the Mac and what do you do with that? If you don't know, how do you learn? How do you learn this stuff?
For operating system stuff, there are lots of courses. So we're a completely Apple firm. So all of my team use Macs. Most of them have never used them before. So as soon as they come in, they get the nice little Mac, and they also get 2 courses from Udemy that goes through exactly what they need. Sorry. And so, okay. So all team members get the Mac, and they also get 2 courses from Udemy, which is an online course provider, and that tells them how to use the Mac, basically. So, Apple and Microsoft probably have courses, do they? But yeah, places like Udemy or other places like that will have how to get to know your operating system.
Emma, when we were prepping for this session, you said you must ask about overwhelm, and you said just now, I've tried everything. How have you now got a very clear workflow in terms of which tool fits into which space in the business, and how have you sort of got down to your final setup?
Yeah, so the key thing for us, it was really getting to grips with what we're doing. And I know that sounds really silly, but who we're working for, who we work with, and why we're doing what we're doing and how we want to work. So I, anyone who knows me will know I'm very, very, you're laughing, I'm very, very picky. So I know exactly how I want to work. I know what I will and won't do, and you will not sway me from that. And I've got boundaries. But that's a polite way of saying it. And Yeah, and over time, we've really drilled down into how we want to work. So we are Xero only. We use, as I said, Zen and Connect for like reviewing that. Nearly everyone has bank feeds, but for a couple who don't, we use Stream Connect. Practice management software is always the one that like, it's the bane of my life. And we're actually in the process of moving to Glide, which is not one of the sexy ones. They are here. So it's not one of like the big huge names that you'll find. But we're going with them because they work in the way we want to work. So it's completely customizable, which is good because it turns out that we work quite differently from other firms. And I think just knowing what you want is really, really important. And I touched before on like the management reports stuff. I've bought nearly everything that's on the market, but we work with very, very, very small clients. So our core are micro businesses. Almost all of them are under 100k turnover. That almost all owner managed, maybe it's with a couple of freelancers helping out. They don't need they can't afford like 70 quid on software before they've even put our fees on top of that. So I think it's getting really focused on how you want to work and what problems you're actually trying to solve. Because all this shiny software is great, and I'm awful for it, but it's got to work for you and your clients.
Should we talk about team? I know you both have a team now. Emma was adamant she wasn't going to have a team. I know you've both got small teams. Would you say that the tech you're using in your business has allowed you to leverage your time more than the average practice, so you haven't had to bring people into the business?
Yes, and we're just in the process at the moment that I'm going to be looking for the next stage of being able to use software so that we don't have to bring in anybody else at the moment. So I have one team member and I want her to become more what I'm doing. And so I'm looking at automation and bots to take over the day-to-day reconciliation and stuff like that so that she can concentrate just on the things that need our input and give her time to learn the next stages of what she can do. We're quite excited to go and speak to some people while we're here and find out what can help us do that so that we can, again, take that next step.
At a recent show, I was listening to someone talking about bringing in bots into bookkeeping businesses. And I think there is a fear around, with some of our community, feel that these bots and things are taking away our job. But I was reminded yesterday by 45 minutes on the phone to HMRC that a bot can't do that. And actually a bot can't make you feel better about the situation you're in, see how you are, see what's going well in your business, all of those things. But what was interesting, I was sitting next to one of our community members and she said, "Oh yeah, I've got a bot." I was like, "Have you?" She said, "Yeah, her name's Brenda." And I was like, "Oh, you got Brenda the bot?" She went, "Yep." She sits she sits behind us, and she starts work at 8 p.m. every night and finishes at 8 a.m. And what she does is she deals with decks and uploads everything to Xero, and then she does all the easy bank reconciliations. And if there's like a couple of niggles and she can't deal with it, that's what we do first thing in the morning when we come in. We just deal with that, and then so it's helping us implement daily bookkeeping. And I was like, "So how many clients can you have?" She went, "We've got all of them on there, but it's unlimited because she's a bot." And I was like, "Okay, how much is that?" £199 a month. And I was like, "Wow." And she said the only reason she doesn't work while we're working is because we don't want to be in the system at the same time as her. And I was thinking about the power of having small teams. I know Emma is growing a team for different reasons, and this is why we need people. We can't always have software for everything, but for somebody that wants to leverage their time and get the easy things, the repetitive daily tasks done, I thought that was amazing. And the lady I was talking to was not someone who I thought was massively tech savvy. She said it was really simple and easy. And I think it's really helped me to change my mind about what's possible.
Yeah, my favourite part is when I get to speak to my clients. And if I'm drowning in the day-to-day stuff, I can't spend the time talking to them and helping them, supporting them, giving them therapy sessions that they deserve and need. So by eliminating that lower end stuff, it gives you that time to be able to talk to the clients, get into what they're trying to do next without it being a race against time because you can't fit it all in.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where the true value is. Spending hours and hours doing bank reconciliations, it's intangible, no one gets to see it. Actually, what they benefit is, what are the results? What is happening in my business? How can I improve it? How can I make more money? And all of these skills that we're learning, we can then pass on to our clients as well. Emma, so what kind of automations do you have where it's fully software or bot related? What kind of tasks are the bots doing?
Yeah, so similar to what you were saying, so our bot does most of our bank reconciliation, leaves us just to do like the stuff that actually needs a human or needs proper knowledge to do. Pretty much everything that can follow rules is done by not us. We have something so we do fortnightly bookkeeping. And so every Friday we email the clients who are going to get bookkeeping done the following week, and all automated. So that goes out. Then everything is automatically pushed through our invoice capture stuff. Then that goes into Xero. That's as much as possible automatically reconciled. And then we have, for those people who pay for it, we have a bot that then goes in and runs the management reports. And then that's just delivered to me. So I can then just add the narrative, talk to the clients about it, and working on how to better get queries out to clients. But we'll probably look to automate that as well. And then we also we use Slack for internal communication, and we have bots tied up to that tells us certain things. So client X has uploaded their document for this that you're after, or they've submitted their self-assessment questionnaire, so now you can start the self-assessment. So all of those things that you absolutely could just go off and have a look, but it's trying to take off all of that time, and it's trying to make all of this work for you. So as you say, you're then spending time talking to clients, going out getting more clients, go to the spa, whatever you want to do. And yeah, I think anything that is rules based, and if you could say to someone, right, follow this checklist exactly, that can be software.
It's a bit like taking on an apprentice. If you can teach a 18-year-old how to do this, you can teach a bot to do the same, which begs a question, what does this mean for the future? What does it mean for... But I reckon, I don't know what you think, but I think this industry is feeling a lot more young, more gamified. And so actually, do 18-year-olds, would they be interested in joining an industry that is run on bots, software, AI? Or would they want to learn how to do ledgers, accounts and things?
You've got to understand the fundamentals, haven't you? But you haven't got to do it all day long. Yeah. What about, I want to come back to maximizing software. So bringing a bot in and training a bot, and I guess you could duplicate a bot. I can't understand, my little brain can't get around why Brenda the bot has to work from 8 p.m. to 8. Can't she just click her fingers and it's done? I don't know. But, so I guess you can grow your workforce by having more of these bots. And then I can't get my head around, why do you pay for, it's surely a computer that doesn't take a wage. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But this is so beyond, it's so new. It's so new. So we can obviously maximize the software we've got by using it more for more hours of the day, by bringing a bot in. One of the things I was thinking about is when we spend a lot of time researching the software and what it can do, and having a show and tell, which I love. How do we make sure there's a return on investment on that time? Because it sounds like for both of you, it's a real hobby, like researching. And I think for some people in this room, it might be like, I just want a workflow. I just want to know. And I can see in my mind, like, we can map this out. A client comes in, like, they come and join us in the business. There's a workflow. We start here. We ask for this piece of paper. They sign something. Then we get into this routine. And there are trigger points we need. They've uploaded their documents. They're ready for their tax return. We have to send this. We file this. If you can map that out and it looks the same every time, then you can decide what that's going to look like. But how do you justify the return on the time that you're investing in exploring these things? Have you seen? It wasn't on the list, but have you can you see an actual return on investment of your time for doing the work researching this?
I'd say so. So, I think it's looking at how else you do it. So we have about 65, 70 bookkeeping clients, and that's done on 2 days a week of bookkeeper time because we automate it so heavily. And I think I think you, as I said before, you definitely need to go into it knowing what you want to achieve from it, and then looking at all the different ways of doing that. And if you can look at something and say, well, the alternative to this is recruiting someone in 2 days a week, then you can very clearly see what return you're getting on that. I think if you're just going off spending £100 on software here, £100 there, that's harder. I think it really does start with knowing what you're trying to achieve from it, and then you'll then know if it's been successful, not just in terms of like money, but in terms of has it helped your business. But yeah, you need to know first, I think, what
you're comparing
success.
It to. Yeah, love that. Thank you.
So we're going to go to a Q&A in a minute, so get your questions ready. But before we do, for the people in the audience, what would you suggest that they do with the software that they've already got to start, really making the most of what they've already got? What's the kind of step-by-step to take to go through in order to go, I don't need something else? Because we do sometimes need to be told. And I think that part of this is community. It can be a blessing and a curse, because you can hear loads of things from, oh, they're using that, oh my goodness. And you think, I should be using it. But also a good thing is when you need something, you can see what everyone else is using. So we have to it's a bit about self-control, which sounds like these two don't have. And they love to geek out on the software. But if somebody that's got an app stack at the moment, or they're thinking of getting an app stack, what do they need to think about before they go and look for something else?
What are your problems? So what causes you problems in your business? What do you worry about? What are you bored with? Start there, and then see. I always say, ignore all software to start with, and map out how you want it to look. That's your job. Your job isn't to worry about how to actually do it. Your role is to work out how you, in an ideal world, what would your process look like, and then you can start looking for things that either plug the gap, or I would also suggest taking time, maybe it's even just once a month. Take half an hour, and just do your product updates. Get in touch with your account managers. Just see what's there in the current software. But yeah, I think knowing what the problems are, what are clients constantly asking you about, what are their problems, and yeah, then you can work out how you can fix it.
Yeah. From my side of things, I always start with a pain point as well, but it's usually my pain. So, for example, having an overrun inbox or things like that. So I would then go and find out how I can utilize Outlook to make that problem go away. So whether it's implementing categories, rules, all different things to help that problem, go and put the question in a community that you're in and find out what other people are doing and what they're using to then be able to streamline things. And all of a sudden your day becomes a little bit easier, because there's nothing worse than logging in and thinking, oh God, all those emails. You can make it a lot more streamlined. So then bringing into it, using calendar in Outlook, tying in to do, because they all link together, and you can drag tasks into your calendar and block out time, and all of a sudden you're using the software more and more and more and making it a lot easier on a day-to-day.
Amazing. Zoe and I have as well, when how we think a bit different is we assume everything can be done, we just don't know the answer, and then we'll go, and our job is to go and find the answer. So a few times we've been like, wouldn't it be amazing if the information from there was put over here once that happened and something triggered? Don't know how to do it. So we've used a tech VA a couple of times, and she's like, oh, I can create a zap for that, or I can do this, I can do that. So I think sometimes exactly what you were saying, Emma, is your job isn't to know how it's going to work. Your job is to figure out what you want it to look like, and then either use your software providers, your account managers, or find somebody that knows more than you do. And in this today's age, I think anything's possible. Everything can be created. We just have to open our minds to the fact and then go and find the answers.
Okay, we're going to go to a Q&A in a second, but before we do that, Joe and I wanted to let you know that at the Six Figure Bookkeeper in March, just 2 months ago, we made a pledge to positively impact 1 million children in poverty by helping their parents to earn more from bookkeeping, so whether that's in business or through employment. And if you scan that QR code, we're going to make donations to women in Malawi to teach them bookkeeping skills, so that will automatically charge us, so we'll be able to provide that training. So just follow that QR code, and when you do that, you can read a little bit more about the pledge, or you can just go to sixfigurebookkeeper.com/pledge. We're going to take some questions now.
My question is, bots. Okay, they sound amazing. Really want to implement one instead of getting a staff member. Where do I find it? How do I get it? What everything? Talk to me about bots.
So we've built our own. So wouldn't necessarily suggest that is the easiest route. Don't start there. So there are two that I think are here today. So there's bots for that and Synergy. They're not here?
Bots for that again.
Bots for that.
Shall I spell it out then? So bots for that is bots, BOTS, and then the number 4. Oh, is it? Okay. FOR. I can't spell, I'm a numbers person. I'm not even good at that. Bots for that. I don't need to spell it because you can spell that. And then Synergy.
Sorry, it's the accent. Yeah, so so bots for that is kind of like just off the shelf bot. You get what you get with that. And Synergy is much more custom to you. So start there and see what you think. I think what we found is that it would need us they were great, but we would have needed to change our processes in order to get the best out of those. Didn't want to do that, so got Stuart to build on. So I'd say if you come across the same issue as well, where you run it and then you're like, actually it would have been better if we'd done this first. I'd just be prepared for possibly needing to tweak the order of things to do things.
Great question. Another question? Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Thank you. When you talk about utilising Microsoft 365, how on earth do you find out where to start? I mean, I use Outlook, but how do you learn what's possible?
I spend a lot of time in YouTube, just looking at updates, finding out how people have, whatever problem you've got, that's what I would search for in YouTube. The other way is you talk to us. You find out what we're doing, and then it gives you a starting point.
Can you give us a list of the features that you have found good in Microsoft?
In Microsoft, like I said earlier, tying in your your calendar to your to-do list and all those things. They've now implemented another app called Loop, which is like a Notion equivalent to do notes and things like that. So that's being built at the moment. But there's so much in there. There's Stream that you can use for videos. There's a video editor in there. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And Kirsty's like, oh. But yeah, I see the name of it and then I want to know what it does. So I go and watch it on YouTube because I'm just a bit boring like that, really. Any other questions?
Well, thank you everyone so much. Thanks for being here. If you'd like to come and join us, we have a Bookkeepers base camp. So if you head over towards, I think it's Theatre 8, and it's near the QuickBooks Castle. We're going to be there at 11 o'clock. If you want to come and join us, we've got coffees and there are some pastries and we'll be giving some books away and things like that. So come over and meet up with amazing bookkeeper team. Thanks everybody. Have a great morning. Bye.